Ladies and gentlemen, if you can hear my voice and if you can see my face, then that means we are back together for another Monday night, and that means it's time for Firepitt. My name is Megan Pennington, and with me, as always, is my best friend, Jim Skiff. Jim, how you doing, babe?
I'm doing just great, Megan. I really enjoyed our time Friday night at the listening party for Zach Kime's new album. There was a nice crowd down there, really beautiful space, and a great opportunity to listen to his music. And we've got another wonderful guest in the studio with us this evening. We've got some great original music coming our way. Paul Eisert grew up in the Erie area, and he's been playing in bands since 1967 when he was 2 years old. Is that right, Paul? And maybe he was a little older than that, but I do remember one of those fine bands fondly, Lincoln, from my teenage years. I also grew up in Erie County, and I met Paul again at the Bloomfield Bridge Tavern when I attended my first meeting of the Pittsburgh Songwriter Circle. He and his wife, Joni, who I know they've performed extensively as Fire and Ice, a great duo, moved to Pittsburgh, and he has become a welcome and familiar voice in the Pittsburgh music scene, performing in a wide variety of venues as a solo act, covering a huge range of artists from Jimmy Buffett to Warren Zevon. In addition, Paul has released 2 CDs of original songs, word songs, and songs from My Back Room. Paul's songs are finely crafted, poetic commentaries on life, love, and loss. And we're very happy to welcome our good friend Paul Eisert to the Firepitt. How you doing tonight there, Paul?
I'm doing very well. It's nice to see your wonderful faces and get a chance to do this. I'm actually in this back room, second back room. That the CDs was recorded in my previous back room, but now I have a new back room. We bought a house, and more music's going to be happening in here.
Well, congratulations on the new home. And, I noticed a couple of things in listening to your recordings. One of the first things that always stands out is the beautiful harmonies that you sing with yourself that have earned you the title of the harmonizer. I know whenever you're at the Starlight Lounge or anywhere else, I can always hear you adding the third, the fifth, the seventh, whatever note needs to be added in there. To what do you attribute this wonderful ability that you have to sing harmonies like on command? How do you do it, Paul?
Well, I think I was born with a harmonic ear, but I grew up listening to and singing along with the Beach Boys and the Four Seasons, Mamas and Papas, Spanky and Our Gang, all of those. And I just, in bands, I was the lead singer forever. And at a certain point in time when we got another guy in the band who could sing lead, I was just over the moon to be able to sing harmonies. I just love harmonies. Just seem to come pretty natural to me. I don't take a lot of credit for it. It's just natural.
Have you done a fair amount of choral singing as well, Paul?
I was in chorus in grade school. I was in the chorus in high school at prep. I was in our church choir for a while. Church choir, those were a little harder because I don't read music. So I really had to follow the notes along. And what I would do at those practices is I would record all our rehearsals, especially in church. I would record them and then take them home and just beat them into my head because, I don't read music, which is, my own damn fault, but it is what it is.
I think some of the greatest songwriters that there have ever lived are not particularly adept at reading music. They're great at creating it. And I know you certainly fit that bill as well. Now, when you're creating the harmonies that appear on your recordings, do you just kind of jam along with the basic track? You said you don't really read music, so you probably don't write it either. How do you do that, Paul? Because the effect is really wonderful. It reminds me of the Sons of the Pioneers and some of the old time guy groups. The harmonies are just absolutely beautiful. The Ames brothers, I think of them. I know I'm dating myself, which is about the only way I can get a date these days. But how do you put those beautiful harmonies together, Paul?
When I record, I can't afford to go in a studio, so I set up my computer and I use GarageBand, pretty common app, and I lay down the guitar track and then lay down the lead melody vocal and then just go back in and just lay in the harmony tracks. Like I say, I just hear them, A lot of times it takes a few takes, of course, but I'm retired, so I got plenty of time to sit there and do it. So I don't know. I hear them. I don't know how else to say it. I hear them and am able to, go from here, I guess, to here and out here.
And let's go a little further back in your process. When you're writing a song, do you typically come up with a lyric first, a melody? How does it work for you? Do they both arise together?
Well, actually, Megan had on the website, she had a question, what's your writing process? And a lot of us were throwing out thoughts and whatnot. And very often for me, not always, but I'll sit down with my guitar and start playing chord progressions and just, kind of feels good. Maybe I might hum a little something. The first thing I want to do is as much of that music, the chords progressions that I can get, pull out my phone, and I have an app on there. It's called Volico, and it's a good app for recording music. And I just get it on there because if I don't, I'll forget it. I mean, it's just in and out the head. And then I'll kind of listen to my heart, look out the window, look at the world, just start feeling like what's in my head, what's in my heart today, in this moment. Like what am I thinking about? Sometimes when I change my strings, I'll write a song. We were chuckling about this before. And I actually wrote a song. The song title is I Changed My Strings Again. And I wrote a song about changing my strings and having a song come to me. It's not a very good song. It was kind of forced, but it's funny. So that's really, that's my process. I usually say the songs come through me, somewhat from me, but a lot, you know what I'm saying, Jim? They come through me,
Yeah. And a lot of times they emerge just almost complete. They'll come through, and it's just kind of a magical process. The changing of the strings, that's a great phrase. Megan, didn't we have a show called The Changing of the Strings at one time on ScarFire, if I'm not mistaken?
At one point, we sure did, and it was all about that revitalization of new things that I wasn't, being exposed to right away. And I'm sad that show left the network. I'd like to maybe revitalize that. Maybe if I get some more time on my schedule.
More time on your schedule?
Yeah, right. I need that 8 days a week schedule that the Beatles were working on.
There you go. Busiest woman in show business.
That's right. And I appreciate that compliment too.
Yeah, we call her Wonder Woman. We all wonder how she does it, basically. And, I'm still trying to figure it out, how she gets 36 hours out of every day somehow. Getting back to your process a little bit, the other thing I really notice in listening to your music, Paul, is that you're not afraid to address issues involving social justice and change. And that kind of leads us into the first song I think we're going to listen to on the show tonight. I Don't Fit the Description. Could you talk to us a little bit about that song, when that idea came to you and what you were thinking about when you wrote it?
Well, it was summer of 2020. I can't imagine that anybody can't look back. I guess we're looking at 4.5 years now, but the summer of 2020, the phrase that comes to me is that the streets were on fire, marches in the streets, Black Lives Matter. Been aware for a long time of the lack of fairness in the way some laws and some laws are enacted against different folks. And there were a lot of people through that summer were dealing with a lot of things that I didn't have to deal with because of the world I exist in, which is a white world. Again, the song just started to come, and I felt I had to address, not like for me compared to what it was like other folks. That's pretty much where it came from.
Well, I think you put that very judiciously. And certainly, I know I wrote a couple of songs that summer as well, dealing with those same issues. And I think maybe it might be a good time for us to listen to this one. What do you think, Megan?
I think that is a fantastic idea. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's all take a listen together. Here comes I Don't Fit the Description by Paul Eisert.
When I walk down the street, you don't cross to the other side. When I drive through your neighborhood, you don't run in your house to hide. When I'm near your car in the parking lot, you don't lock your door. You don't follow me around when I'm shopping in your store. I don't fit the description, 'cause I look so much like you. Look so much like you. I don't fit the description like some of my friends and my family do. I'm cruising round with a broken taillight. You pull me over, want to see my ID. You don't grab your gun automatically and point it at me. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. You let me off with a warning. You never ask if I'm where I'm supposed to be. And when I'm down on the corner with some friends just passing time, you don't stare at us like we're committing a crime. We could be planning some trouble, looking for something to steal, but you see us as nothing unusual, no big deal. 'Cause we don't fit the description, 'cause we look so much like you. Look so much like you. We don't fit the description like some of our friends and our families do. I don't ever remember a time when I had to be scared, to be judged by the color of my skin when I go anywhere. Yeah, I know I've been privileged to live my life as white. I can't walk in the shoes of those who have to fight for their rights. I don't fit the description, 'cause I look so much like you. Look so much like you. I don't fit the description like many of my friends and my family, sisters and brothers, mothers and fathers, sons and their daughters do.
Hello, Rock Station Nation. This is Utah here with your Shady Lady Productions local live music calendar for the week of February 3rd. Yes, Groundhog, Lovers, and Super Bowl month is upon us. Thursday Acoustic Night kicks off the month of love with the legendary Don Keys, live and in person at Liberty Corner Tavern in Freeport. 7:30 showtime. Don't let him take you home. Happy Hour at the Grill at River Forest in Freeport continues with live music from Megan Pennington of Moonshine Jasmine and ScarFire Media and Radio. Food and drink specials, 6 p.m. start, open to the public. And check it out, everybody. Tickets for the Band Jam Grassroots Music Festival are now on sale. Visit our website at thebandjam.com and lock them in now. August 21st through the 23rd at Cooper's Lake Campground. We can't wait. Sponsors and vendors are encouraged to contact us today. Thank you for supporting local live music, and tune in Sunday nights at 7 p.m. to the Rock Station 97.7 for the Grassroots Show, featuring all things local music. Rock on and support local business, community, music, and radio.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was I Don't Fit the Description by Paul Eisert, and we were hanging out with Paul himself. I am always so thrilled to be able to have these conversations with you, Paul. And, you know, I've always wanted to ask you this, and the way that our lives and careers work, we don't get too many chances to talk like this. I'm dying to know, you've been doing this for so long. What is some advice that you would give to the young artist that's just getting their start, especially a young artist that, you know, aligns with your views and your mindset in this tribulating world? What advice would you give to that person?
Well, advice about if I'm talking to a young songwriter specifically who, you know, write what you know, speak your heart and speak your own truth. I don't like to necessarily speak to cause pain to other people or point fingers necessarily, although, you know, sometimes a finger needs to be pointed. But as far as getting into the music business, now you're a pro, Megan, you're a pro. I mean, you and solo and you and your band, you know, you traveling all over the place, playing all over. I never really had that experience. I played in Erie, in the local area there when I was in bands. I never was a traveling musician. I never did it for a living. I always had a real job, like we call them. But as far as like breaking in, I would say don't stop. Don't stop knocking on the doors and getting your stuff together and just go out. And if you have to play cheap to get into some club or some bar, I actually, I myself told myself this year, I've spent a few years since we moved down here trying to get into the bar scene, and it's just not, it hasn't really worked out very well. And part of it's because I'm the new kid on the block, and part of it is that one door that I can't open, which is how many people are you going to bring in? The vast majority of people who I know down here, and they're going to either be playing or they're going to be broke. So or both. Yeah. Yeah. So I've never really bar scene as far as getting in solo acoustic act. I mean, there's places that I have played. I've played, you know, some, but this year, my 75th birthday, I said, all right, I'm going to try it once more. So I'm doing this. I'm horrible at promoting myself. So I'm just doing this kind of first stage of Facebook messaging all of these, like I got about 15 or 16 of them out there right now, places that have acoustic music. And I just say, look, you've probably never heard me. Hire me. The people that you bring in, if they like what I do, which is 60s, 70s, 80s, a little into 90s, classic acoustic rock, the people in your bar, your club are going to like it. They're going to enjoy it because I know what I'm doing, because I've been doing it forever. So we'll see. I got a couple out of that, which is okay. But Joan likes to tell me, she says, you know, you've had your season. And I played for decades. And she and I did our acoustic duo for decades. I've had my season, and I'm, you know, like, oh, okay, I get it. I get what you're saying. I'm okay with that. I get a chance like Friday night at Starlight to set up a little bit and kick out the jams. And I go, I still can do this. I still like to do this. That's what I really roundabout way to answering the question. Just keep, you know, do it. Don't give up. Expect, I don't want to say expect failure necessarily, but don't expect this instant, you know, success. Give it time.
Right, exactly. And if I may interject, I love hearing that you are mass messaging bars about wanting to get in. And I would like to provide not only you, but our listeners a little bit of comfort in the booking process, because it is extremely overwhelming. And there was a long period of time in my career where I didn't crack the code. It's all in the way that you sell yourself. You know, I'm sure everybody has heard that phrase, sell ice to an Eskimo, or we nowadays we say Inuit. Sell ice to an Inuit. It's all in the way that you market yourself, without giving away all the magic spice, if you will. When I send an email, because I email everybody, my toxic trait is, if you can believe it, I have phone anxiety and crowd anxiety, which means I can't call you, I can't cold call you without like shaking to do it, and I can't go into a crowd of people where I don't know anybody without feeling really nervous. So because of that, I email people, and when I email. My email reads, "Hello, my name is Megan. I'm a singer-songwriter based out of Pittsburgh. I'm booking for 2025, and when I came across your venue, I couldn't help but reach out." Then I provide a little bit of a bio, and I really sell up the stuff I've done, right? Like I've toured from here to Wyoming, and I've done all this stuff. That Wyoming show was a one-off that I just happened to grab just because, but like I play
Hey,
that stuff
throw it in
up.
there.
Exactly. Play it up, really sell yourself. And then after that, I include that I can play X amount of time, X amount of covers and or originals. And then the most important thing that I have found that has helped me so much, include your links. Linktree is a good place to kind of centralize everything. I just got myself back on Linktree, but make sure you include your social media links and include the social media link in which you have the biggest follower count. I have Insta and TikTok, but you best believe I be sharing my Facebook page with people because that's where I've got almost 2,000 followers. So
Yeah.
show the numbers that make you look good and include some live footage of yourself. It could be a phone video. They don't give a fuck. They just want to hear you. They want to see what you
Yeah.
can provide. And that's what's been getting me as much as it's been getting me as long as it has. So there's my advice to you, to Jim, to everybody listening. Just like Paul just said, don't stop selling yourself and you know, putting yourself out there and giving yourself that opportunity to provide because there are gigs out there abso-freaking-lutely that will pay you $100 an hour to come down and just sing covers all night.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And with ScarFire, I could show you those places. So I commend your efforts and I wish you nothing but the best of luck. And I've got a few gigs I'd love to throw your way.
I'll take them. You know it.
Let's
Absolutely.
do it. Let's
I'm
do
glad.
it.
I'm glad that you said that about that because I was talking to somebody and they said, "Well, you might have to like go in. You have to like go in and talk to them." And I don't go out much. I just don't. So I'm glad to hear that it's digitally. It's doable digitally.
I
Now,
have toured regionally all the way to Wyoming, all the way down to Georgia, into to Nashville, Chicago, all by the power of social media and emailing.
And Megan, if I'm not mistaken, don't we have a ScarFire listing of venues in our area that are looking to hire acoustic acts that Paul could access through www.scarfireradio.net? Is that where
We
he would find it?
Yes, sir. We have two lists currently running in tandem. One is called Find a Venue, which is where you, as the artist, will find a list of venues that have been confirmed to book independent music and pay independent musicians in some capacity. So there's that list for you to go through and book your own shows. And in tandem, we also have the Independent Musicians Guide, where you, as the artist, can list yourself for talent buyers to look through and find artists in which that they want to book for their shows and events. So we have that constant network going so that you can get paid the money you are deserving of
yeah,
getting.
yeah. I think I did send you my stuff for that independent artist
I think
guide.
you're on.
I think, yeah, I think we got me on that.
Should be on. I'm gonna double check right now so it's on the air and everybody knows.
But I don't think I've investigated to find a venue. Is that on your .com
Yep.
on the main page?
I apologize, Paul. I do have to update you. I did say I would, and I did not, but you'll be on as soon as we're done here. But yes, it is on the website under the catalog. There's a second tab called Find a Venue. You just click on that, and you'll be able to find the two lists that you need.
And one other thing I'd like to ask you about, Paul, along these same lines, I know you do a lot of performing in senior centers around our area. And I just think that is such a great way to give back to our senior community, of which Pittsburgh is noted for having a very large number of senior citizens and senior centers. And could you talk about your outreach that you do along those lines a little bit?
Sure. Actually, that was in a sense, the saving grace for my music. When we moved down here, we knew we were moving down. My sort of dream was to find some lounge, some little bar that I could go in and set my equipment up and then like go in and play on Fridays and Saturdays and just be doing my thing, doing my hot dog show. And that didn't turn out. But what did turn out, and it was the same kind of thing, like we say, only in this case, it was phone calls. I get the senior area agency on aging, maybe they put these booklets out and it lists all of the senior facilities in the area. And it even lists them, whether they're North Hills, South Hills, and, Jim, we've talked about this. Somebody says to me, well, I live in the South Hills. I said, okay, that's south of what? I have no idea. But I knew kind of area wise, I wanted to start out, without having to drive 2 hours. So probably starting in about 2017, I built up to like pretty close to 50 different facilities that I was playing in. And I would just call up and say, this is what I do. I did a little bit of it up in Warren County, so I leaned on that a little bit. And for some reason, that was way easier than getting into the bar scene. So I truly feel that I get more out of it than they do. We have fun and we spend almost as much time laughing as we do singing. I'm a hot dog. I go in and at my own expense, tell a joke or something. And to me, it's just using my gift in the best possible way that I can. That's what I feel about the senior centers. It's just a lot of fun. I just love it.
And I'm sure they certainly appreciate it. I did a couple of Christmas shows this year for some senior centers, and they were so appreciative. And I'm also wondering if the next song that we're going to play may have been inspired by those kinds of activities. It's just a tremendously poignant song about, why don't you tell us about it? How did Still come about?
This is Still. One of the places that I played, excuse me, in Warren County when we still lived up Kinzu area, because I play the senior, what we call like Gen Pop, like in the prison, you got the general population, and then you have the Alzheimer's unit, memory care, now they call them. And I play a lot of, split them up, and it's a different performance with different songs and different flow for the reasons I'm sure you can understand. Attention and different things like that. And this one particular place I was in setting up, and I noticed this woman. She was sitting over to the side, and it wasn't like gawking or anything. I had work to do. I had to set up and be ready to play. But I did notice her actions, and several of her actions are like in the first verse of the song. And I experienced watching my mother-in-law. She never got dementia, but she did. There was a lot of memory issues as she was going before we moved down here, Joan's mom, and just seeing some other people with the experiences. So the first verse is kind of that. And then I wrote it as a poem. And what I did was I thought about how would her husband feel? What would he be experiencing going through that, being there for her? And so I wrote it as a poem, and I gave it to the nurse of the unit. And I said, I don't know if it's appropriate or not. I said, it can stop right here between you and me. I said, but I wrote this poem because she said, well, yeah, her husband comes to visit her. I said, I wrote this poem. If you feel it's appropriate, give it to him. And, just as a gift to me. I don't expect anything. I just felt because it came out of me, maybe I'd share it with them personally. I don't know. I never found out if she did or not. I don't know. Within a few weeks or so after that, in the Warren Times-Observer, in the newspaper, a little small town newspaper, their story was in the paper. The story of their life together and, him like caring for her until he couldn't any longer. And it just, it kind of freaked me out a little bit, that there it was. And friends of mine know this story, but I never like sought out any kind of like, hey, that was, so that's what the song is about. And some of the lyrics, people listened to it and said, well, gee, it's a little bit on the little bit harsh side. a little bit as far as some of his reactions. And I truly believe if you listen to the lyrics, all it says is there's heartbreak and sadness, joyful memories, and all of it. Anybody that's experienced a family member who's gone through this, or a loved one, whatever case, will say, yeah, sometimes that's the way it is. And that's the song Still.
Well, I love this song. It made me cry absolute ugly tears at the Steamworks showcase this past month. So I think this is a perfect moment for us to listen to it together. Here comes Still by Paul Eisert.
Thank you.
She talks to people who aren't really there, plucks invisible objects out of the air. She scrubs at a spot on her dress that doesn't exist, and frets about an appointment she thinks she's missed. He watches as she struggles to remember his name. He knows that he should, but sometimes he feels sorry that he came. Their life once full of blessings now seems so cursed. Out of all the possible endings, this is surely the worst. Physically she's fine, all the doctors say, but her mind and her memory are fading away. Sometimes she treats him so mean, he doesn't want to stay. But he's vowed that he'll come to see her every day. Once upon a time, seems so long ago, when you're looking back at life through a broken window, if only for a moment or two, and then one moment more, she could come back and be like she was before. But then, for an instant, there's a light in her eyes, shining just as brightly as those yesterday skies. He is reminded of the woman that she still is, and again he thanks God that she still is his.
The country music world has hit a snooze button, and fans are growing a little weary. But fear not, because one artist is ready to shake things up. Enter Dance Liker with his album, Sellouts and Train Tracks. This album is a joyride through the ever-changing landscape of country music. Packed with a delightful dose of humor and good vibes, it dives deep into what Dan believes the genre should truly embody. With sellouts and train tracks, Dan isn't just serving up tunes, he's capturing a moment. He mixes laughter with introspection and shouts out to everyone wanting to steer country music back to its heartfelt storytelling roots. It's a musical mashup you won't want to miss. So don't let this chance slip by. Tune into the Country Music Revival by streaming Sellouts and Train Tracks by Dan Sliker today. Available on all your favorite streaming platforms. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Still by Paul Eisert. I told you it makes me cry ugly tears. Do you see them on my face? Oh my gosh. I love that song so much. I love everything about your music, Paul, and it is such an honor to be able to call you one of my musical friends. I really, truly mean that. I met you through the Starlight fam, so I consider you a brother of mine for a long time, so that's true love in that room, for real.
You as well. You as well.
Before we let you walk out the door, though, Paul, I gotta know what's coming up on the docket for you. Any shout-outs, any new shows, new releases? What's coming?
Well, Jim had mentioned, we talk back and forth, like I like to have a list, like sort of a semi-script. And one of the things he mentioned was like local performers that I like or love. I started to make a list, and it's just like, I know you could like to keep this probably within 20 minutes or half hour. So the list would be long, but I'm talking to two of them right now. That's obvious. Both you guys. First time I saw you, Megan, at Starlight, I'm sure it was at Starlight, this little Spitfire, ScarFire Spitfire, comes walking in and just like, oh, that's cool. Her voice sounds maybe a little country, maybe a little bit. Okay. She gets out and bang. I mean, you just are so evocative and passionate on the stage. I really just like, all right, this is the one. This is one. So, I mean, that's just it. And Jim and I don't really remember meeting Jim when I was in Lincoln, but we've talked about it. And when we moved down here and I was desperate to find musicians, I went to the BBT for this Pittsburgh Songwriter Circle, the first meeting I went to. And I meet this guy. And after the meeting, we're out in the bar, we're talking a little bit, blah, 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 blah. And I don't know who first mentioned, but it was Mary Dodson Brown that I was in an inspirational music group with. And Jim might have mentioned her first or something. I look at him and I go, you know Mary? He goes, well, yeah. And then boom. And it was just like, it really felt like, okay, I'm home. I mean, this is kind of home, but Erie is my home and it always will be. And Jim is an inspiration to me. Jim, your passion and your talk about social consciousness. I mean, somebody said something at Steamworks there that we should do a CD or an album together of socially conscious music, and that to me would be an honor. I mean, you're just so, and your lyricism blows me away, and your stentorian voice just really just like knocks my socks off too. So you guys. A lot of the people from Starlight who are my musical family, John Leckie, Devin, David Hawkins, Brad Yoder, Brian Junker, John Parasini. I think you guys know John Parasini. He and I played in a little throw-together band together up in Warren when we lived up in Warren. That's another story for another time. Donna O. And then there's just so many, that could go on and on. So, that Starlight family is a real musical family. And, I'm really grateful that it happened. I do have 3 gigs coming up after I get done saying, oh, I can't play anywhere. Well, you'll see. The first one is February 15th at Starlight. We're doing one of the Starlight Invitationals that go on there every Saturday. Play from 7 to 10, and they always have a couple acts. Thank you, Ronnie Moondog, who everybody knows, does more for music than anybody. But it's a Starlight Invitational. Wild Bill Cox is opening, and Carrie King, she and I met her through the Starlight, and she at the time she was like kind of singing along to tracks and stuff on her phone. And somebody said, well, Paul knows a lot of songs. He could probably. So the next thing you know, I'm accompanying her. And it gives me a kick to just, it's not me. I'm like playing, maybe sing some harmonies, but I just love it. So we're looking forward to that. That's going to be Carrie's first performance in front of people other than at the Starlight Lounge. So we're excited about that. I'm playing at Antonio's March 7th. Antonio's, you guys know, what a wonderful place, wonderful people, fabulous food, and a great time. And then one of my outreaches through Messenger it's called Tavern in the Hill, Pleasant Hills.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't.
Yeah. Good for you.
So I had to look them up. But they responded and they said, well, first, it was a group called, I think, Three Rivers Productions, maybe. I don't know if you guys are familiar with them. Three Rivers Productions. It's sort of like a booking agency. Nancy Lackner, her name is. And she messaged me back and said, well, we're not doing anything right now, but we'll keep on list. I said, oh, thanks. Okay, great. And within a few days, she messaged me back and she said, hey, I got a gig. And that's Tavern in the Hills on March 29th. I'm definitely excited about that as well. And then my seniors, of course, that's my upcoming.
If it's not too personal to ask, and please tell me if I'm being too forward, what homes are you currently performing at? What facilities?
Well, I'll do them off the top of my head. There's one, it's called Harmony at Heart's Run, and I'm not going to be able to say where these all are either.
Yeah.
That's around Fox Chapel area. I play in Cranberry at a place up in Cranberry. They just changed their name, so I'm not going to be able to give you that one. There's a couple of Concordias.
Okay.
If you're familiar with them.
Yeah.
UPMC has some day centers.
Are you going up to Cumberland?
Cumberland?
Is that the one up by Passivant?
Cumberland.
The McCandless? Do you go up to that one?
Concordia up there?
It's like Cumberland Crossing or something is what it's called.
I've seen that, but I haven't got in there. I can send you a list.
That would be awesome. Yeah, I told you at Steamworks, I used to do a few homes. I used to work for the Jewish Home for Aging, and I would perform on my shifts there. And then I wish I could remember the name of the home. It was in the South Hills. I used to play out there. I took Craig Veltri with me once to that one. And then when I was doing private care, I went the apartment complex that my one client lived in was one of those like high rises for people that had help. So we would have like luncheons and stuff, and I would play music for the luncheons. And you could pay me all the money in the world, but I'll never feel as good as I do playing shows like that. And I'll mean that until the day I die. And I love that stuff. So yes, please send that list.
I will. I've played at a couple of the JAAs.
Okay.
Ahava off of Brown Hill Road.
That's the one that I used to work at, actually. I worked at there's the brown building up front, and then there's the one in the back. I worked in the one in the back up in the memory care ward.
Weinberg Village.
Yep, that's the one.
Yeah.
That's where I started.
They closed it down.
Did they?
But they still have the Ahava, and then there's another Weinberg Terrace.
Yeah, the terrace is still there. Okay. I'm so sad to hear that.
Yeah, I don't know, it was staffing or something.
Yeah, I have actually. Here's a fun fact about me, and I hate to steal the show for a moment. At Weinberg Village, that's when I was working there when I got signed to my first record label, and I wrote Free sitting on the memory care ward overnight at Weinberg Village. My first song that hit #1. Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
That's awesome. I can picture you sitting. I mean, maybe not the exact room, but was Sandy there? Was Sandy the activities director?
I don't remember what she did, but I do remember Sandy was involved with the department for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and now she's moved to Weinberg Terrace.
Oh wow!
So,
wow, what a small world.
But yeah, that's two of them, and like I say, there's a bunch of, and some of them, it's called Life Pittsburgh, and they have day facilities where the people can go in during the day. They can get lunch.
Yeah.
They get medical checkups and all kinds of stuff. Very cool. But I agree with you. It's two different things, I guess. But I mean, I get my rocks off when I'm playing on a bar stage. I get a different kind of uplift when I'm playing for the seniors.
Yes.
So I guess I got the best of both worlds. But they're both equally very filling, just very filling.
Amen to that. Amen to that.
I would like to thank you for your kind words about Megan and I. And I know I certainly share those feelings about you. I think you're a wonderful songwriter. I would love to do a show with you sometime, like a social justice kind of theme or whatever. I think that would be great. And, maybe we could put a little record together as well. And I really appreciate your comments about the Erie area. It's near and dear to my heart, especially Presque Isle, which is really, in my opinion, one of the seven wonders of the world. I think it's the largest freshwater stretch of beach in the world, right up here in Erie. A lot of people don't even really realize what is available there and how close it is. We go up there all the time, and I think you must have lived in that area in order to create the beautiful song that we're going to talk about right now. Why don't you fill us in a little bit?
Well, that's Beach Boy, and I grew up a bike ride away from the beach, and I was there all four seasons. I mean, wintertime at the lake is a beautiful time too. But this particular song, I mean, my life is on that beach. But you're right, like 11 miles of beach goes all the way around. This particular song, Beach Boy, I took a trip back it was several years ago now. I had a friend that was in the hospital in Hammett, up at Hammett Hospital. On the drive, the song pretty much tells the story of what I saw and felt and what came through in memories driving up. And if you're familiar with going on the Bayfront Parkway and then going right straight downtown, I didn't get to go out to the beach, but I didn't need to because it's in here. It's already in my heart. So, and that's what this song came from, just that trip. It was in the fall. And so the images in the song, actually I have a video. A friend of mine that still lives in the area, an old bass player, goes to the beach all the time and takes wonderful beach pictures. So I sent him the lyric and I said, I need some pictures. I want to do a video. And I'm horrible with this kind of stuff, but it came out all right. I'll give you a link so you can check it out. But it just talks about my beach in the fall mostly, and then some little memories. And it's one of my more favorite songs, I guess, of my own.
I am so excited to hear this one. I don't think I know this one. Jim, do you?
I have heard it a few times, and it always evokes a lot of great memories and feelings. And it's kind of about after the beach is closed for the summer, everything's kind of put away, and kind of reminiscing about the good times in the sun and looking ahead to the future. And it's really put together very well. I really like the poetic imagery, the melody, the harmonies, of course, are always stellar. It's really a great song. I think you're going to love it, Megan. I think our listeners will.
Well, I am super excited to hear this song, and I'm super excited to feel some beach vibes as we think ahead to the future with that fire burning, the ScarFire, if you will. I want to say thank you to all of you for tuning in for all things Firepitt and all things ScarFire Media. Check out the website, submit to the catalog, find a venue for you to get paid at, buy an ad. Let's get you some work, baby, because you deserve to get your music heard. So as we walk you out the door on your way to Scarface to catch a little Moonshine Jasmine action, we're going to take a listen to Beach Boy by Paul Eisert. But stay healthy, stay happy, stay safe. But most importantly, people, peace and love. We'll see you next time.
Boats are all in dry dock. There's no lifeguards in the chairs. Silent silver seagulls flock. Fall chill fills the air. The concession stands are shuttered. The trails are full of leaves. The picnic tables cluttered stand like prisoners on reprieve. Memories of summer from my childhood keepsake drawer. They're farther in the distance, harder to get back anymore. But I still can see a young man standing by Lake Erie's shore, toes buried in the wet sand, listening to the wild waves roar, never thinking for a minute that summer ever ends. so fully wrapped up in it, unknowingly's end. Memories of summer from my childhood keepsake drawer, they're farther in the distance, harder to get back anymore. If I'd known then what I know now, wishful thinking, that's for sure, I'd grasp the moment somehow, it would endlessly endure. But life and time don't work like that, as cruel as it may seem. So when I can, I'll still go back and be there in my dreams. Memories of summer from my childhood keepsake drawer, they're farther in the distance, harder to get back